we're going to bring you some rabbit updates today. We are going to, but first, we're going to take you out to the rabbitry. But first, we've got three newbies that are still here in the house with us and inside cages with pans and all that good stuff. We're going to introduce you to them. We usually keep them in the house for a little while at first, let them get to know us, let us get to know them, we'll get acquainted, and I don't know, it seems like we get along better afterwards. So let me get the first one, and we'll be right back with you. This little guy, and this is a breed, before I introduce him, this is a breed that you're not used to seeing here at Crow's Nest Rabbitry. We ran into him almost literally with at the Jonesboro Rabbit Show, and Dana just had to have him. This is Lightning McQueen. He is a dwarf Oto. He is the first of possibly many. I'm kind of still on the fence whether I like these little guys or not. They are definitely easier to pose because they pose more like, well, what I call a normal rabbit, meaning simply they don't have to pose sitting up. That's pretty much that right there. They pose pretty much naturally. See the toes underneath the eyes, even with the back toe, even with the front of the hip. I don't know if I've got your side there right or not, but that's pretty much all there is to it. Maybe, and whereas on a mini Rex, you would pose them with their head down to the table like this. I have found out through what little I could find about this breed on the internet so far, that you don't breed them, or you don't pose them with their head down against the table like that. You just let them kind of raise up natural like, just kind of like, get his feet set, just kind of like that, let them raise their head up a little bit. He's pretty much doing it all on his own. He don't really need a whole lot of help. But just a solid white bunny with a band of black, and I found out that they can have black or chocolate around their eyes. That's the only color on them. And, I thought, well, a white rabbit with a little band around his eye, how hard can those be to breed? And then I looked it up. Oh, my goodness. There is a combination of about 4 different genes that make this eye color show up, and these eye bands show up the way that they should. And, oh, my goodness. What a fun time we shall have. But we're going to learn, and hopefully you guys will be interested and learn right along with us. Anyway, this is Lightning McQueen, and we hope to, before long, maybe find him a girlfriend and get something going with this breed and see if we can learn a little bit more about him. But yeah, friendly little rascal. They're about the size of a Netherland dwarf, maybe a tad bigger, but they are a lot less temperamental, to say the least, than the Netherlands. They have a lot less. To me, a Netherland dwarf for such a small rabbit has quite an excess of personality. Let's put it that way. These guys, they seem to be a little bit happy-go-lucky, laid back, don't have a care in the world, kind of like me. Okay, we're going to get into the next, we're going to get to the next newbie, and we'll be right back with you. Let me try this again. Okay, next, this is Gemma. I found a new show, just to kind of explain her name a little bit, and I found a new show on Netflix that I like. I've already watched all the episodes, but they got 3 seasons of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on there, and there's a young lady that works in the lab on that series, and her name is Simmons. Her last name is Simmons, and her first name is Gemma. So that's where I got the name for Gemma, or where I got the idea to name Gemma. I'm kind of still on the fence as to what's going to happen with Gemma. She's still a youngster. She's only about 10 or 11 weeks old. Not very old at all. We are keeping an eye on her. she's not growing quite as fast as what I'm used to. The Reds, Bianca and Cheyenne were just, you know, wow. And she is a half sister. Excuse me, she is a half sister to Bianca and Cheyenne. Same sire, different dam. Her mama's name is Molly instead of Marcy. But we're gonna see what happened with her. She's just not, I don't know. Could be a late bloomer. We'll see. But we'll get her moved outside shortly. Another thing too, we keep these rabbits inside with us so we can keep an eye on them when we first bring them. Even if I know somebody pretty well and I bring a rabbit home from their rabbitry, I still like to keep it separated from my herd, because I'm not quarantining a rabbit from another breeder. I'm quarantining the rabbit from my rabbits, because it could carry something without even knowing it. It could be carrying something that this rabbit is immune to, but my rabbits aren't immune to it, and it could make all my rabbits sick that way. Now, on the other hand, if it's just carrying it and it doesn't actually have it, I'm going to have a hard time detecting it anyway, but we still keep an eye on them. I try to keep them separated and in the house where we can keep a close eye on them for at least 30 days, I prefer. I did make an exception recently. Got a little overzealous, but we'll get to that later. Whoops, calm down, sugar. But anyway, this is Gemma, beautiful New Zealand Red, a youngster. And hopefully she will grow out to be something that we can work with, and we might just have some youngsters out of her coming this fall. So, there's Gemma. Okay, we got one more here in the house, and then we'll move out to the rabbitry. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Here's newbie number 3 here in the house. This is Jada. As you probably already figured out, she's a solid black. She's a mini Rex brood doe. She is, I don't know exactly how old she is. I don't have my program open. If you want to know, email me and I'll tell you. I'm not going to look all that up right now. She is, I just picked her up. A young lady had her for sale close by, and well, you know, one of those deals when people are buying mini Rex, they'll just buy anything because they don't know what they're looking at. Well, sometimes those same people also place rabbits for sale because they don't know what they're looking at, and this was one of those situations, in my opinion. This young lady has the biological distinction of being related very closely to a rabbit that you've already met from our rabbitry, Hunter's Hope Tagalong. This is Hunter's Hope Jada, and she is Tag's mama. And the young lady, had some rabbits for sale, and I asked about one in particular. Anyway, when I found out who she was, I couldn't get there fast enough to pick her up. And I certainly see where Tag gets his stunning good looks. Isn't she gorgeous? Look here. This is what I like on a mini Rex. See how her, in depth, you see how her body is either equal to or above the height of her ears? Here. That's what I, here, come on, we don't need your elbows pointed up at the ceiling. That's not right. Okay, here we go. Come on, work with me, sugar. Okay, she's gonna fight. It's alright. It's alright. Just trust me, she's beautiful, gorgeous, adorable, darling, whatever you want to call. I was told that she's not very friendly, but she's been nothing but friendly here so far. I hope she stays that way. I was told by someone who had owned her in the past that she had a white spot, and she had never been shown. And the white spot was why. Well, I can't find the white spot. I've looked. Wait a minute. Yeah, I can too. Yep, there it is. So that doesn't bother me in the least. I will in any of her offspring. I have Tag. He has no white spots, and that tells me that she can produce good, usable, showable kids. So, which Tag's a bit on the heavy side, but he's only by a couple of ounces. You know, not that big a deal. I'm using him for brood anyway. I'm not going to show him, but I'm sure by the time he was the age where he went overweight, I'm sure if I was showing one equal to him, I would probably be done showing him before he went overweight. But we're breeding them constantly smaller. We're breeding them now. She's a little large, okay. She's about. I think I weighed her and she was 4 pounds 8 ounces. So she's right at the upper threshold for a mini Rex. If she gains an ounce, she's considered a DQ. Of course, she's already a DQ because of the white spot, but she makes, hopefully, will make an excellent brood doe. I know she has the potential because I have one of her children. So we'll just see what happens. I got so carried away, and I hope I didn't make a big mistake. But I got so carried away, and she was ready the day that we brought her home that she immediately went in to visit with Blueberry for a short amount of time. Now, you would think that probably that doesn't make the best sense in the world, introducing and breeding her with Blueberry, but you have to keep in mind, I'm not really certain at this point if I want to breed her son back to her or not, but they're not going anywhere, at least I hope not. So if I want to do that, it can always happen later. But more or less with Blueberry, remember with Tag how I said he was homozygous for non-dilute? Well, I want to find out if his mama is also homozygous for non-dilute. So breeding her to Blueberry is the best way that I know of to find out. And if a blue results in this coming litter, assuming she got pregnant, of course, but I'm pretty sure she did. But if a blue rabbit, one blue rabbit comes out of here, then we'll know that she's a blue carrier. And that could be a good thing. Because I would love to have this body, and this fur on some of my blues. Sure would. But anyway, this is Jada. And we're going to get her cage fixed up, and we're going to get her loaded up, or we're going to get her moved into her permanent home. We're going to have to do it a little quicker than normal because, well, she hopefully got babies on the way. We'll know in probably a week to 10 days. We should be able to palpate her and determine if she's got any little buns in the oven. But that's Jada. We're just so happy to have her with us. See, she's fairly calm. But anyway, I like to breed calm bunnies because even though we do show a lot of our rabbits, we have a lot of rabbits that become eventually somebody's pet. And a lot of times people show their pet rabbit. So it's a combination of the two. So regardless of the purpose they're being bred for, I want them to have good temperament. So I think she'll be okay. I've had people have babies out of Iris, and she's probably the most nervous rabbit I've ever had. And she actually has thrown good babies with good temperament. People are making pets out of them. So that being said, we're going to cut off and we're going to move to the rabbitry, and we're going to go ahead. This video might run a little long now, folks, so stick around. Grab you some popcorn real quick, or a cold drink, or whatever you need to do, because we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through, and I think we've had some litters born since we came to you last. I think we've also, I'm not sure who we've had born, but we can just give you an update. Figured you might like to have an update on all the babies too. So we'll see what happens. Y'all stick around.
Okay, folks.
Newbie number 1. This is Kira. This is Kira. And obviously she is, she doesn't like to be posed. Isn't she beautiful? She's a little big. My goodness, you're gonna go wow when I tell you this. She's definitely a brood doe, but look at this body. But she's big. She is big. Weight and she's big. But she's proportionate to her size. She's not long. She's not overly long. Come on, sugar. Here. Yep. Get your butt up there. There you go. Yep. And no, quit leaning. Yeah, anyway, she comes from a long line of, well, let's just put it this way. When I looked at her pedigree, and this is kind of why I took a chance on her, even though she is large in body. One, because large in body doesn't bother me. I've got some large bodied does here. But the thing is, I've got some small bodied bucks. And if you go with a larger body, if they're proportioned right, you don't want them long in shoulder, long in body, too long in body. Okay. She cracks me up. You hear her making that? Y'all hear? I don't know. Y'all may not hear that little noise she's making, but she cracks me up. But she is just gorgeous. Obviously, she's a DQ. She wouldn't be a showable bunny. But what I was about to tell you was, when I was looking at her, I took a look at her pedigree, and I just had to go, wow. She's out of Kelly's and KT's bloodline, and also some queens of the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I don't know, 15 rabbits or so on the pedigree behind her. 10 of them are grand champion. A couple of them have like 14. I think I entered a couple of her great grandparents, and one of her grandparents has like 17 legs. Okay, so she comes from very good bloodlines. That's why one reason I went ahead and took a chance on her. 2, she's just so sweet and lovable. And you know, she's got some faults, but this body type, her body type, shrunk down a little, of course, and we can do that, is something that I need. And hopefully she can help us with that. She and I have already had a talk, right, Kira? And she said she would be willing to help. Checking things out. Just a beautiful bunny. We're glad to have her here. I picked her up. She is actually from Holland Hares Rabbitry. I forget the name of the town, but anyway, it's in Oklahoma. Now, I didn't get her from them. I got her from PJ. PJ had her at the rabbit show at Jonesboro, and I got to looking her over, and yeah, she's a little big and only got partial nose marking. But if we breed blacks, blues, that nose marking is not going to matter. Besides, I happen to know that one of her potential boyfriends has a full, beautiful nose marking, and we just might counteract that with him. So, but if we use a different buck that's a self, and we breed selves, we could get some nice selves out of her, even though she's a broken. And then the nose marking won't even matter, will it, sweetie? We don't care, do we? Besides, I looked at the standard. Obviously, the full nose marking is preferred, but half a nose marking evidently is not a balanced. A balanced nose marking is preferred, which she obviously does not have. But in reading the standard, the way I understand it, that's not a DQ. That would be a pretty heavy fault, probably. But Uh, you know, we didn't get her to show, but we got some bucks that'll complement her faults nicely, and we can make some. The idea, folks, if you're breeding rabbits, I don't care if you're just breeding meat for the backyard, okay? You still should be, your goal should still be to produce youngsters that are better than either parent, okay? You can take two mediocre at best rabbits even, and you can pair them together, and you can come up with something really special, okay? See Bianca right there? Not that her parents are mediocre. Now, I'm not saying that, okay? But neither one of her parents, to my knowledge, have ever won a leg, okay? That doesn't mean they're no good. Look what they can produce. You see what I'm saying? So, there's a difference in, I guess what I'm trying to say is, you just need to decide if you want to be a rabbit breeder or a rabbit haver. A rabbit haver is just somebody that goes out here in the backyard, throws two rabbits in a cage in the backyard, and raises some bunnies out of them, and a couple months later, because, hey, I got pedigreed rabbits, pay me $50 a piece for them. But they're barely worth eating, you know. Your breeders actually work to try to improve the breed, okay? If I breed a rabbit, I don't care why I put the buck and the doe together. There's some way that they can complement each other. And I'm looking for babies out of those two that are going to be better than either parent. That's what we should all be looking for. Continuous improvement. That's why your breeders are constantly, they're having proven breeding stock. Okay, they're moving them out. If you bite me, it's going to be on. Okay, I think you're just trying to sniff my hand, but I'm just letting you know, okay? She's a curious bunny, that's for sure. But she's not shy. I like that. She's shy. She's really friendly. Anyway, back to what I was saying. If you're always working to improve, if you've got breeders, they're constantly selling proven breeding stock every year or 2 years. You're continuously improving, okay? You're raising up youngsters that should be better. If you're having youngsters, at least some of them that are coming out of your litters today should be better than the breeders that they came from. So, when these youngsters grow up, these move on because you're in a continuous revolving door state of improvement, okay? It doesn't mean that your breeders are no good. It just means these are better, okay? So if you're selling these, or at least they should be better. If they're not better, you probably need to hang on to these or replace them before you get to this step. But if somebody's selling their proven breeders, it doesn't mean that they're no good necessarily. You still should know what you're looking for and look them over good, because I try to only deal with reputable breeders, but occasionally I run across somebody who I've never dealt with before, and you have to be careful. Caveat emptor, buyer beware. It works. That applies with anything that you buy, especially used, online especially, where you're basically making a choice on whether you want the animal based on a picture. Okay, that's just not going to fly. Okay. It's hard enough to do it based on a picture. But if that person is dishonest, come on. You know, you don't have a chance of getting something good out of that person. But it does mean if somebody's selling a proven breeder, it does mean that they've got something that they're raising up, somebody that they're raising up that they think is better than this one. Okay? Case in point. I just showed you Jada. And now Kira's here. Well, we've got to have some room because I got a couple of youngsters that I'm raising up too. We've got Delilah over there. Let's see. I recently had to cull Pepper, so he's gone. So somebody will fill his spot. I guess Opal. I guess that's Opal. And Salt went to a new home. Kira is right now is occupying Salt's old cage. But we got to find a spot for a couple more. Okay, all right. Like I always do, I got off topic a little bit. Dana and I are going to do a quick gypsy switch here, so hang on. You better get a hold of her. Okay. Oh goodness, I'm glad I set up partially under this awning. It feels like it's starting to miss rain a little bit. We may not get to finish this video. I hope we do. Okay. Alright, this is Carmel. Pull my britches up here before they fall down on me. Alright. This is Carmel. He is a caster. He's been with us for a little while, and I kept forgetting him. Doggone it, he was down on the end. I've got this cage out here on the side of the red building on the outside, and he was down on the far end, and he just kept getting overlooked. Bless his heart. We had him in there. We were letting him grow out, and we're hoping to start producing some casters and some opals. And I think Morgan, being a tri-colored doe, has some interesting genetics in her background that I think might mix nicely with caster to give us some interesting, maybe depending on what he carries on the elo, because we could get a red. Wouldn't be a great red, but you know, because you still need the white band. But you got to start somewhere. I do have a lead on where I can find some reds. I also am raising I am going to raise a buck out of Morgan. She's got a beautiful little solid blue buck that should be carrying the recessives needed for tricolors, and I am going to raise him up and breed him back to Morgan, and that should get us started on a line of tricolors. I don't think they'll be great, but they'll give us a bit of a gene pool to work with. It'll be limited at first, but you know, we can get started and then we can work on something else. Now, Carmel is just not what I would call outstanding. In fact, if you look at these ears, I think if I measured those just might be a DQ. I'm not real sure, but they're not. The Mini Rex standard says ears over 3.5 inches long, and I'm just not sure, but I think that might be. Okay. He hasn't been worked with a whole lot. He don't like to pose for me, but there he is. He's a little bony and hollow. But his caster is pretty nice. At any rate, basically what we're doing with him is we are introducing the caster variety, or the caster gene. This is just an agouti. Okay, you remember Squirrely Girl, the chestnut? This is the same gene that causes this caster. It just looks a little bit different because on a Mini Rex, the fur is all the same color, it's all the same length, or at least it should be. So you don't have the guard hairs, they're not protruding like they would be in a regular, say if you had a chestnut New Zealand or Squirrelies a Netherlands Dwarf. So it looks a little bit different. But this is Carmel, and the good news about Carmel is we got him at 9 weeks old, but we've had him long enough that he actually has babies on the way with Morgan. He's been bred to Morgan. It will be his first litter. It's the only time that he has been bred, but I have palpated Morgan, and she does have little bones in the oven. And it looks like that little Carmel will be a proven breeder before long. And I don't know, call me silly for mixing those together, but I just can't wait to see what comes out of there. But anyway, this is Carmel. He's pleased to meet you. He's pleased to meet you. And so hopefully we're going to have, with the blues and what have you that we have, hopefully before long we can use him and have some casters, some more casters and some opals. And we don't have a lilac bunny, but we might could try to get a lynx. I don't know if you guys have seen a lynx Mini Rex, but those things are just gorgeous. They're kind of hard to get, but we have the genes that we need to get one. We just have to put them all in the pot and stir them up in the proper proportions and see if we can't get a lynx out. So Dana and I are going to trade again real quick. Okay, off camera. There you go.
You have heavy butt.
Now,
Oh my God.
now this one you'll probably have to squint to see her. She's a bit on the small side. Not. Okay. Sit up here, sugar. What do you think about that? My goodness gracious, sweetheart. Oh, she's a bit on the light side. And if I had her pedigree out here, I could explain to you why. But I guess since I don't, I'm just going to tell you why. Come here, back up. Here, back up. She don't want to pose for me. She's only been shown, I think, maybe once or twice. She's not gonna be a show bunny. She was at Jonesboro. She did show, but at that time she was showing for somebody else. She came home with us at the end of the show. But this is Marcy, and Marcy has the biological distinction of being the mother of, drum roll please, she's the mother of Cheyenne and Bianca. So this is where Bianca and Cheyenne come from. This is their mama. She is huge. She is, oh my goodness, what did I say? I'm not going to get the scales down right now.
912.
No, not 912. No, she was 10.
Oh, you reweighed her.
I reweighed her yesterday or the day before, and she was 10 pounds and 4, 5, 6 ounces, somewhere in there. She wasn't quite 10 and a half yet. But she has been bred. Dana, who was she bred with?
Rome.
Okay. She's been bred to Romeo. This was another... Somebody's going to be pointing fingers and saying, dummy, you knew better than that, and I hope you do, because all three of the rabbits that we have brought home, Jada, Kira, and Marcy were bred just days after coming home. But, well, you know, it's just one of those I don't need, this is a hobby, I don't need any of them, okay? You can see I've got plenty to eat. I'm not going to be showing till, and showing's a hobby anyway, but I want, and that's not a very good reason to do what I did, I guess, but I want youngsters out of all of these beautiful young does before it gets too hot, okay? I don't like for them to be having babies in July and August. If they're going to have babies, I like for them to have them in June at the latest, and I won't breed again, and I won't breed any doe if they become open between say the last week of June until about the middle of August. I will not breed a doe. And the reason for that being is it is so hot. Okay, we have heat indexes of 115, sometimes more degrees. And if you don't know what a heat index is, don't move to Arkansas. You can't handle it. But for those of you that know what a heat index is, you know what I'm talking about. Now, there's a lot of you probably watching that are down even farther south. I think we got some watching in Texas and Louisiana, and you're saying, only 115 degrees? Yeah, okay, you got me there, but 115 degrees is still awfully hard on a rabbit. I want these ladies, if they didn't take, I have the opportunity to try one more time before it gets too hot. That's why I went ahead and did what I did. Now, if they took, they're going to be weaning, these guys are going to be weaning babies in late June. Yeah, late June, okay? And then they've got all summer they can rest by themselves. You see what I'm saying? And then they can sit back and they can get nice and fat all summer, and then about mid-August to the 1st of September is when I start breeding, depending on what the temperatures are, okay? You know, it's all up to God. Whatever temperatures. If we're still having hot weather, then I'll wait a little longer. But usually around September 1st, it's safe to start breeding them, because you got to keep in mind you're not going to get your first litter until October 1st. But I want to show some babies, reds and mini Rex. I want to show some on September 2nd, if possible. Thought might be nice if. Are you listening to me, Marcy? Huh? We need another Bianca. Huh?
I done something that made me cry the other day. Color Marble.
She does resemble Marble in the shoulders. She's a bit long and this big dewlap. Marble had that big heavy dewlap. But I don't know if you've noticed, but when she stands up, she's got a big old thick flap of skin that hangs right there between her legs. Remember how Marble? So she does, and she is a relation. She is a descendant of Marble and Caraway, which is, I can't remember, I think she's a cousin. Marble's cousin?
I thought you said Marble's aunt, or niece.
Might be. Her mama is Harmony, and Harmony, I think, okay, don't take this to the bank or anything like that, but I think Harmony was litter mate or born at around the same time. Anyway, she descends from Caraway, which was one of the original red does from Grace Hollow Rabbitry. And, well, you know, Romeo has a flat butt. Yes, Romeo does not have enough junk in the trunk. But look here. See what I mean? Look. Romeo's got some decent shoulders. She's just a tad low in the shoulder, okay? Romeo's got better shoulders, but look at all this butt. Look at here. Marcy's got what Romeo doesn't. So, like we said, hopefully the babies are going to be better than either parent. She's a little weak in the shoulder. Romeo's flat in the butt. He can't hold his jeans up. He's got a Hank Hill backside. Those of you that watch Hank Hill, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. Boy, talk about getting off topic. Ain't we having fun though? Okay, we're gonna put Marcy up. Is this all the newbies, Dana?
It's all the newbies.
Ain't no more newbies, y'all gone.
Well, not that size newbies.
Marby, huh?
Not that size newbies.
Yep. We did. We say, I don't know. I can't say we saved the best for last because I love them all, but we certainly saved the biggest for last. All right, folks. Now we're gonna go over into the rabbitry and we're gonna do a baby update. Now we may or we may not. I'll have to look and see how long this stuff is gonna be because I talk a lot. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I talk a lot. But
I know.
You get me talking about rabbits, you might have to tell me to shut up because I just love them. I wouldn't have them if I didn't love them, right, Dana?
All right.
But we're going to go give you a baby update. Most of them you've seen already. I think probably all of them you've seen already, but they've gotten a little bigger. And maybe you won't like to see them again. If this newbie, between what we shot inside and what we shot out here, if it ends up being long, we'll probably do the baby edition in a separate. But you'll just have to wait and see because right now at this point, I don't know what I'm going to do. So, just in case this is a video by itself, I'll just say it now. Y'all have a great day.